You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the round 3 review, the wrap-up of our, third or fourth. Why do I always get these wrong? It's the third round of fantasy. Opening rounds fucked me with it. Round 3 of fantasy, 4 of Dingo. Yep, cool. Done 2 trades, and yeah, I mean, how are you tracking, Nathan? I already know the answer, but just tell everyone how you're doing.
Well, the score wasn't as bad this week. I think there was a bit of an upward tick. What's painful is you finally bring in a rookie you need to bring in, and he's cooked for, what did he end on? Was it 10? 12 points?
12.
There he is. Which, what can you do? That's just rotten luck. And then, yeah, the guy, I think he might be sitting next to him in your team. Or actually, you might not have brought him in the end, but never getting the...
I had to reverse him. Yeah,
absolutely infuriating, that one. What can you do? Sometimes that's just how fantasy works. You just live with it.
Yeah, move on. I suppose my trades were pretty hot and cold as well. I bought in O'Driscoll eventually. Would have liked to bring him in earlier, but yeah, he's just been doing his thing in the midfield, which was a nice one. I was gonna bring in Nevitt, hence the wonder where it shows. It'll be in trades or something, but hence my there are my trades down there. Got 300, 400k left in the bank just because I needed a player for my midfield. So I just jumped on Closey just because he's breaking him to 1 now. I was in the negatives before, so as long as he's playing, he'll do all right. But yeah, as you can see there, ticked over the 19 mil mark in team value. Don't know if that includes your just straight cash or not, but in the top 25k, which is pretty ugly. Some people are surging, real early, getting their top 2000s, 5000s, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm just waiting on them to gas out and hopefully catching up on them with the cash gen.
Yeah, I think you've hit most of the good rookies early on. Obviously, this week you'll be looking to ship off Lindsay.
Correct. Oh, well, there's a topic in itself.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, yeah. Do you need to ship off Lindsay? I suppose that's a conversation for another time. But for now, we're gonna go away from our team and who we thought had lit it up in those weeks. This is why I'm hot. So, I mean, well, we can just count out players and just go to a whole team here. Essendon, that 4th. You said, did you end up tipping Essendon?
I did. I had
Essendon. Yeah, very good. You said what desperation can do for a team, and that final quarter, my goodness, just just the worm tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a club playing for a bit of reputation at that point. Still didn't look like a high quality game. It felt like a couple of bottom 6 sides going at it, but you need to get those wins at some point, and it's a pretty important one for us.
Yeah, a bit of grit against a team that obviously finished top 4 last year. I know they're not that team at the moment, but they'll do real good things for the fans and hopefully for the rest of the club. In terms of players who we lit, is Merritt the Brownlow favourite at the moment?
I'm assuming it's still Paycos, right? There's no way it's not Paycos. It's always Paycos.
I hate it. But how good is he? But game after game, going back, going forward, kicking goals, 34 touches, no goal in this game. But he's been fantastic. In terms of fantasy, he's not the value we need at the start. But he's been real good.
Yeah, absolutely. Outstanding performer. Nothing ever changes with him.
Yeah, well, he's held himself well, off the field as well in the media too. Real strong defense of the club and what they're doing. So that's something to take into account as well. In terms of fantasy relevant options, well, there's not a whole lot, especially in the training camp for the Bombers, since they've got their bye in this upcoming round. But some we can talk about. Your man Dylan Shiel had a bit more of a comfortable role in this game. Do you reckon they finally figured him out?
No, not at all. I still would not touch Shield with a 10-foot pole. You can't trust it.
Yeah, it's just good to see those sort of players go up from my point of view at least. I think a big talking point for us this week is going to be this many Christian Moraes. Is that how you say it?
Moraes. Yeah, Moraes.
Yeah, Moraes. Yeah. Nice, but 18 years old, obviously debuted week before last in the subs bench, had a real good points per minute, and then rocks a 90 plus score in his first full game. Do you reckon he's sunk in a spot there in Port?
Yeah, it's looking like it, isn't it? Like, obviously I've got a couple of players come back into the team, but there'd be a few that would surely get the boot before he does, right?
Yep, for sure. They already have got rid of Finlayson in favour of him, and it's rewarding him. And in terms of fantasy relevance, you just see him, roaming around, taking those marks. I haven't looked at the stats real in depth yet, but I imagine his kick to handball ratio would have been, absolutely excellent as well, which is something we're looking for. 13, 14, but in a midfield is still, pretty good on a wing. Zach Reed as well. Another one, talk about, nailing rookies. I'm pretty sure everyone's got this guy. He worked his way into my best 18 I'm just having a look at, and that takes him to a negative 13 break even. Can't trade him, just let him sit, let him keep doing his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of cash left to be made off of his back.
And that Essendon back line, just known for not being afraid of those sort of chip kicks around the back, which are absolute gold for our fantasy teams.
Jackson Pryor as well had that 72. Just same boat as Reed, really. Just goes okay. Yep. I probably don't rate him as much as a player as I do with Reed, but he's still just making cash in our back line, right? And if he needs to pop into that D6 slot for a week, like he has done for me this week, that's fine. And he can go back to the bench and hopefully just pop out 50 to 60 every week.
Yeah, it's an annoying one. I just couldn't see myself pulling the trigger on, which hindsight's a wonderful thing. That's one of those coin flips we talk about that we got wrong. I feel like he was massive in the fourth quarter, if I'm remembering that correct. Nope, he went quiet in the fourth quarter. It was the third quarter with 36. 9 touches, 8 kicks, 2 marks. Wow. I was licking my lips for a bit as a non-owner. But other than that does it for the hot guys. I'm sure we've got a few cold guys we want to touch on. Some in particular, for mine at least. On to Friday's night game, which we did the watch along for. That was an excellent watch. Well, for half of it,
we did the watch along. Quote last round wait, but
you were there.
I was there for some of it. I was still able to watch the rest of the game, but I couldn't get back onto the stream, unfortunately. So you were commentating solo.
I'm the one that's had the cyclone, and you're still leaving me. Awful. But no, it actually ended up being a good stream. Had over 100 again, which is fantastic viewership. A couple of comments in there too. So what wasn't to love? I'll tell you what was to love for you. Tom Zakonig 130 on the Vice for you, and I'm sure you happily took that. Yeah,
once we got that 130, it was McRae was waiting as the backup, which wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But that 130, you take that every day of the week.
Yeah, fantastic. And then, I don't know how much we need to talk about this man, the Dr. Sam Davidson, 31 touches, started at basement price. I was lucky enough, although it didn't make a huge difference in the end, but you told me to put him on field instead of Garcia for the sub risk, and I'll take that 125 into my best 18 every day. But 31 touches. I love that. I don't know if it's noticed how like he runs. Like he really looks like he's just like completely giving it his all every time he's running. I know it's a funny one for me, but yeah, I'm yapping. Talk about his game.
Yeah, I mean, just a must-have. If you don't have him, it's not too late to get him in. He's going to make a lot more cash. He's not going to score 125 every week, but yeah, he's more than capable, and you can just have him on field at F6 as well. Like that's completely viable.
Which might be happening for me if I get rid of this one Port Adelaide player in particular. But yeah, down to a negative 39 break even, which means if he gets injured in the first minute, he makes like what 15k or something. That's hilarious. It might even be more.
Moving along, there's probably not too many more great performers in the game.
No, I mean, we'll touch on Libba for those who are brave enough to go him a 142 to back his 2 all 100 plus scores. It's, a brave pick, but real good if you did it. Relevancy, English still not doing enough in 99. Chera, 83, slows his cash gen down just a little bit. Hot players, no, that's about it. But yeah, it was just that Davidson. When was the last time you saw someone at his price go 120 plus?
Yeah, you don't get it much. Like I know Sheasel and Dacos both had those sorts of games, but they're also very different players to what a Davidson is. So yeah, for what is just a role player at the Dogs, that's a pretty ridiculous score that he's put out.
Lovely, lovely stuff. Now move into Melbourne v Suns. I did not see this happening. I tipped Melbourne. I thought they're gonna respond here. They've got all the stars, points approved. And was it last week that Gawn got thrown under the bus in the interview or whatever it was? And I thought, big response needed. No, Gold Coast to Gold Coast, but it couldn't have been any more, Nathan. That midfield just looks like it's lost its star power.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened at Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably, as far as all the clubs, these are probably the two clubs I've gotten the most wrong in my preseason predictions. I didn't rate Gold Coast all that highly, and I thought Melbourne was going to be
that was your one.
up at the top end. So I feel like every other club I got close enough to how they're tracking at the moment. But these two just absolutely flipped on top of each other.
Yeah.
From a fantasy context, the whole Gold Coast midfield just looking great. That tends to happen when you're pumping sides by 10 goals. And just smashing them in clearances and everything.
Yeah, I think they're plus 13 or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, just outstanding stuff. Obviously not trade targets this week. But players you could definitely see yourself having in the future. Usually Anderson's probably the one, I think. Miller, I'm not going to trust him to get 3 goals a week. So I think Anderson's probably the pick of the bunch. What about you?
This is an interesting one. I'm glad you're here because I want to talk about him. What do we think of Noble? What do we think of him as an option? Because we thought it was going to be Rioli that got that sort of main halfback role, but he's sort of the trusted ball user. He's a guy they're looking for. He kicked that goal where just Melbourne midfield fell asleep and he just gets a handball receive running into 50, and I think he's a good chance. It's just, is he going to have those 5 touch games that he used to have at Collingwood, or do you think he's really flipped a new leaf here?
Yeah, well, that's what scares me, because you're not getting Dan Rioli to play a lockdown defensive role, and you can see that happening with the Noble. So I mean, they've got Adelaide this week, so maybe that's like a Rochelle or a Keys, and they just go, you know what, we need you to take responsibility for this player. That just scares me a little bit with Noble. And he probably doesn't have the ceiling of some other halfbacks in the comp. Like, I can't see Noble having a 150, like there's halfbacks that can put out that sort of score. He's not that. So it just means if he's going to give us a 50 when he has a defensive role, when he's playing the Perryman job, then yeah, that could ruin us pretty bad.
Yeah, 778k as well, not cheap. Still, even after that, 117 gets average of 91, break even still 60. So he's not getting you a real value roll. I think looking into it is probably a bit too big of a risk for him. Anderson is someone I want to talk about with you as well. Do you see him being a top 8 mid in fantasy?
Oh, I've probably got him just a touch below top 8. He won't be far off it. There's a few that are going better, and as good as he's got, like he's averaged 117 to start the year, and that's in 2 dominant wins. So is that enough? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to drop off maybe. If we're going off last season though, if he's going 117 away from home, he should give us a 150 this week. I somehow don't have faith in that.
Well, it's worth the shout out. It's a good performance for the Suns at their only performance at the MCG for the home and away season as well.
Yeah, packed out game in front of the Melbourne.
Yeah, that too. I think the attendance came on. I saw a tweet from someone that said they must have been counting the security and the like food attendants and stuff like that.
It would have felt like a home game for the Suns, honestly. That's the numbers they're used to being in front of.
Yep. Oliver 108. This is what we knew he could do at the start of the season. That's just another one to brush on. Takes him to a 60 break even, 7k. He might even get to that mil mark. It's just good to see him doing his thing, albeit in a weaker Melbourne midfield for this game. Now Bowie had he still had the score, because I looked at him but saw that obviously the last game was without May, and then May went in, but then Lever went out, and I thought, is this just going to be like the sort of one-off roll? Didn't trust it, but he did it again, and God, I think tears were coming to my eyes when I saw what he was on after his first quarter. I'm going to have a quick look at what that was.
I think
41.
He's looking like he would have been a good starting pick. It's probably just one. It's hard to trade into a player at his price point. Yeah, I don't know if you can trade into someone at his price.
Yeah,
when it's not give us cash that we know are going to give us scores. Just the fact that there's any doubt on someone like Jake Bowie, I don't think we can do it. But if you did start the season with him, then good on you. Like, that's a great pick. About 3% of the comp have him. So off to a flyer.
Very good. Yep. In terms of hot players as well, we'll have to do a little bit of scrolling here because he's not priced at anything. But Harvey Langford finally got his chance, kicked a goal, 25 touches on debut. He was, and you would have heard it if you were tuning into our pre-seasons as well, I thought he was going to be the main standout youngster in Melbourne, and Lindsay was sort of going to play second fiddle. But obviously, with Lindsay out, I'm going to put it to you. Would you rather be trading in Langford or Moraes?
I think I'd jump on a Langford. I think I just have more confidence in him than Moraes.
Yeah.
Because Moraes has come out of nowhere a little bit, right? Like, we weren't hyping him up in the preseason. There was no real talk that he was going to be in their best 22. Whereas Langford, we sort of knew this was in him. So there's just a little bit more confidence in it. But I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. Like, they're both great picks.
Yeah. Langford obviously had that sub game, which takes his average right down a bit. But 335k with a break even of 30. Even that said, Nathan, Moraes has that negative 27 break even. Does that change you at all? Because you're really getting them in to make cash, and one of them's guaranteed that 40 points extra just before they've even stepped on the field.
It makes it tough. Like, maybe it just depends a little bit if they have to be on field for you as well. Like you might lean more Moraes if you know you can put them on the bench.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, so far Moraes has been outscoring Langford anyway, right? So high score and cheaper price. It's just that gut feel from the preseason makes me slightly prefer Langford, but yeah, it really is a coin flip.
I think, I want to look at schedules as well. Melbourne have got Geelong, Essendon, and Freo, whereas Port have got, I know they've got Saints next week, and then Hawthorn, no, there's no real, and then Sydney, so there's no real standout in them as well, but definitely two trades I'm happy to sort of move in on. And then speaking of moving in for you, Nathan, I'm sure you were cheering with this next game.
Yeah, it was a great game to be at. Good to see Saints actually put aside to the sword for once. It's probably the biggest win I've seen them have in, I don't know, close to a decade at this point.
Wow.
So just a great win.
And with that, some great scores to go with. We had a brilliant 40 touches from Sinclair, 134 points. Look, he had if I'm not mistaken, he had a sort of not amazing performance in the first round, but then has picked it up in the last two. But he would have, I'm thinking, would Steele out have affected his role for this game, or did Steele just get straight swapped for Hugo Garcia?
Yeah, it was Garcia straight in for Steele. And if anything, Travalia got a lot more midfield opportunity as well on debut. Sinclair and Wanganeen Miller are there on the 112. They were just both purely off of halfback and just racking it up.
Yep, for sure. And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Nathan. If you had a mil to use in defence, are you bringing in Sinclair or Wanganeen Miller?
Probably Wanganeen Miller. I think
Ooh.
He's taking the game on a bit more. I don't know. I think we've sort of seen what Sinclair is, which is bloody good. But Wanganeen Miller is still on that rise up year on year with his average. So maybe he's going to end up being that D1 sort of option in the future. And I don't think Sinclair's quite going to be at that level.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Would you have both of them in your top six defenders?
I would have both on top six right now. Yeah.
Very good. So there'd be them two. There'd be a Zorko.
Sheezel would still be in there.
Barely.
Who else would be? Ooh. A tough one to think about, actually.
Yeah, I'll put you on the spot here. Whitfield.
Whitfield would still be in there. Maybe Holmes is the sixth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. But, so, I mean, in terms of trade in, I suppose, who's the more priority trade in if you see them both being in your top six defenders? You went, Miller?
I'd go Miller, but for like when we're talking about the rookies before and you can't go wrong either way, I don't know if you're really going right either way here, just for the time of year that we're doing this trade. You don't want to be bringing in a premium. Like, at most, these guys have, 5 points of upside. It's not worth a trade.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, something I need to talk about on my trade targets, because, there's a certain guy we'll be talking about very soon that probably doesn't have many points of value as well that I'm quite keen on. But you touched on rookies. Now, Garcia was sat on my bench, unfortunately, but it could be worse. You could be one of those people that traded him out. Nathan, out. Oh.
Well, at one point he was traded out in my team. So, ended up being Draper that went. But, this is why we had him in our team at the start. Like, we know when he's actually got that midfield, he can do this.
Yep.
Round one was a bit of an outlier. No Saint really touched the ball except for McRae. Round two, he gets subbed or starts as sub. So, back to a role that he should hopefully hold on to, and he can keep scoring numbers like this.
we'd be bloody brave to drop him after that, Ross. It was, yeah, fantastic. And yeah, we talk about him for his tackling, and I think he ended on, I think it was 7 for the game, in a game where I don't think Richmond had much of the ball as well. No, 9, sorry. Ends on 9, not 7, yeah. Brilliant tank in there. Yep.
Short with the 101, just getting back to scores we wanted to be closer to. McIntosh again with 100. Like he's just
the headband
doing it. Like I genuinely think you can go there. Like there might be better options, but I really don't mind that shout. Maxwell with an 89 again. Not too late to jump on him if you want to. He's starting to look like he's got that role pretty well locked up. I don't see Butler kicking him straight out of the side if he's playing like this.
It's just, is that a role you want to have? Like, he's obviously scored in it these last few, but...
Well, he's pushing up the ground a lot. Like, it's not like he's just playing as a small forward. Like, once they're pushing up the ground, you don't mind it as much. Blight with a good score, but I don't think he can take a play with his role, and he's already 400k. So that's probably it.
Yeah, trainer 78, and I think going back to the main thing to note with Short is that 24 kicks, 6 marks, and 2 handballs. That's exactly the ratio you want to be seeing from a player like him. Now, which blockbuster are we going to go first? We're going to go to, down in Tassie. There was an extreme wind. I obviously didn't get to watch this game, Nathan, but apparently Mitchell was quite composed at quarter time, down 37-2. It says, boys, let's give it a quarter when we're actually going with the wind rather than against it. And yeah, took the lead going into half time, and yeah, Hawks just ended up running away with it.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy game. Horrible conditions, which we'll see. There's a lot of lower scores from some of our top fantasy players. Whitfield, big exception to that, still managing 120.
Yeah.
Lockie Ash with 100, still a really
that
good
hurts.
effort.
That hurts.
But after that, a Will Day 83, it's not quite what we're wanting. It's fine. No. Newcomb 77, that's not what you pay for. So yeah, there's a lot of struggling scores from that game. I won't read too much into it in terms of players losing their roles and stuff. I don't think there was too much to talk about with that. But just in these conditions, it is so hard to just get regular possessions, right? The ball's constantly just rolling along the ground. Players aren't taking marks.
No,
accuracy
tapping it rather than disposing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a horrible, horrible game for fantasy.
Yeah, 3 half-backs. You see those tacklers probably getting a bulk of the stats as well. Obviously, Bedford there with 13, just because that's where the ball is down on the ground. We'll go to I was about to say much more enjoyable game for me. It probably wasn't for the first 2 quarters, but Brisbane get home over Geelong at the Gabba. The rain we all had this idea of it being a wet weather footy game, but it was really you could barely tell if it was dry all day, you wouldn't have been able to tell it was spitting. So people preparing for that probably didn't get the worst of it, and that's where I want to touch on my man Zorko, 119. Again, that kick to handball ratio, 23-5, taking marks, moving forward. He's just the guy that everyone's sort of looking forward to go forward, and I'm tempted to bring him in, Nathan. I've got the cash. Tell me why I shouldn't.
Because he's not going to make you more cash. That's the reason why you shouldn't. That's not to say you never bring him in, but you save that for 2 months from now, I reckon. Unless you're getting an injury to a premium defender, I don't think it's worth doing.
What if, hear me out, what if he has Richmond next round?
Well, I don't know if that's going to help him. It's hard to get a touch when you're playing halfback and Brisbane win it out of the centre, go forward, kick a goal, and then they win it out of the centre again, go forward, kick a goal. So maybe he won't get through much of it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's just like you said, regardless of who they're versing next round, I think, yeah, there's just not enough value, which is what we're trying to bring in at these stages. My value pick, Max Holmes, yeah, sort of regressed the disappointment from last week with, yeah, the same 119. Yeah, it was good seeing that number 9 flashing around everywhere. Ashcroft rewarded the people that kept him. Yeah, he was big inside 33 disposals. I think he led that for the game with 22 kicks, 6 marks, and a goal. Can't argue with that. Bailey Smith was getting his fair share of attention, as he always does at the ground, but 112 for him. I think, yeah, respectfully, you were an absolute psycho if you were trading him out because of that sort of calf scare. He was always going to do this. Yeah, premiums, I suppose, like, you wouldn't be happy with a Neil 91. Dunkley 110 was my man of the match just on the day, but obviously that doesn't equate to fantasy scores, but 110 will be solid for him. Anyone else in the hot category?
That's probably about it. Yeah, everyone else was just a bit ordinary.
Exactly. I suppose Levi got his 58, high 50s, low 60 score. That'll keep him moving in the right direction. But yeah, that's enough for that, and takes us over to Sunday's games with Adelaide with another, 6-goal win over the Roos. But the Roos are still showing some heart, aren't they?
Yeah, they weren't disgraced by any means. Adelaide have looked a great team to start the year, so yeah, you live with that if you're a North fan. You're still probably riding the high from round 2. So
yeah. I think Simpkin on top of the 117 still scares me. When are they going to throw him to half forward and put, I don't know, Parker in his position or the like of that? How do you see his role going?
I mean, it's hard to take him out of there when he's playing the way he is right now. Maybe it's waiting until Wardlaw's back.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, for that reason, I still wouldn't trade him in. But you're not in any rush to get rid of him either when he's doing this for you. A couple of the Adelaide boys did really well. Rankin, again, it looks like he was the pick over Horn Francis. So one we both got wrong. Yeah. Caleb Daniel, 115. That's just, again, no shock there. We all have him.
No. Yep.
I think, that's probably it. Curtin with an 81 was impressive. Peatling, 79. Respectable effort for people that held him. You'd be a bit happier with that.
Yeah. And
I think that's it for this game.
Yeah, I think people, I'll just chuck in there as a note again, people looking at Saligo, with 115, these are all games that Adelaide have won by, 5 goals, 6 goals, 10 goals or something. So it's, I want to see him do it in a sort of closer game than that before looking at him as an option. Yeah, no, take it away, man.
Yeah, in the derby, so saw Freo pretty much control the whole game. Rachel with a 110, so that's much better for us this week. Very happy with that. It's wrong with a 100, doing his owners proud. O'Driscoll, 99. I think you said you just brought him in, so that's a great debut for your club. And again, just looks like one of those best mid-price targets. Yeah. Murphy Reid with a 75 again, and actually finding the footy, not just a free 5-minute patch. So
how good is this?
There's probably still rookies you'd trade in ahead of him, but
yes,
again, if you have him, every week he does one of this is another week you can hold him with generating cash. So, just outstanding. Ryan Marich with a 101. It's a good score. I don't think we can really jump on it. Baker, 81.
Ooh.
I like that he's a bit of midfield.
Why?
What's the question? Why for Marriage?
Why can't we trade him in? He had 9 kick-ins. 9. And this is West Coast we're talking about too.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, he's not been a big scorer at any point in his career. I'm not saying there's no value there, but are you really trusting that? Are you trusting him to keep these kick-ins? Like,
No.
I could see that going out very quickly anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Well,
I don't think
they've moved him. They've moved him back
trust.
for his ball. Yeah, no, they've moved him back for his ball use, and yeah, it could be a new role. But the thing with me is that he's 492k now. Who can you get for that price? It's spend up 100k, get a O'Driscoll.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Get someone that's
so many
actually
better.
just a midfielder. You'd much rather that.
Yeah, or if you're going forward, Davidson's there. And you pocket 80k, same price as Garcia, who has a much better role, just things like that.
Yeah. Baker with a solid enough score, but not sure he's got a good enough amount of cash gen in him. And that's probably it for players that are hot.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll switch it back to the start. How about we do it? We'll switch it up. We'll go reverse order now since we've already there, and those guys that are probably more important to get out of your team to keep the cash gen flowing, and these are. Who's your number one from this game, Nathan?
I'd probably still be looking to get rid of Hewitt if you have him. Just
Ugh.
you can't have a player constantly either being subbed on or subbed off.
No.
So, and he's not a basement price rookie either. So I think he's the real one in this game. I don't know if there's too many trade outs in this game. I feel like a lot of players just went okay. He's the one that stands out for someone that people did start with.
Yeah.
Or maybe traded in round 2. You just have to jump off that.
Went to show why we didn't not panic trade in, but what do you call it? Just jump on the high of Jaw. He had 19 touches for a 59. Just shows that's more what he's going to do. And in terms of players missing, it wasn't too bad from that aspect of it. The other side of the game, Crows v North. This will be an interesting one, Nathan. I'm sure you've got a few guys on your mind, mainly around that premium price.
Well, I'd look at some of... So, obviously, Rochelle, if anyone has him, he's gone for, I think it's 4 to 6 weeks. So, that one's a must trade if you did. Yeah, Dawson with a pretty disappointing game. I don't know if it's enough to say it's a trade out. Like, it's fine. It's an 85.
No.
Von Powell came back down to earth with a 72. Sherry with a 77.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, there's a few of these guys that they've just not scored well enough, have they? It's like you'd be pretty happy if you just didn't start the season with Sherry at this point. Already, I said prior to Marshall's injury, I thought he'd be the top scorer and Sherry would be second. And even with that injury interrupted season, I think Marshall's already averaging more than Sherry at this point. I think it's just been a tough start for him. Didn't really get going. So not saying it's a trade out. Just not a very
He'll be back. He'll be back, yeah. We know that O'Brien's a bit of a lump to come up against as well, so he'll do better against those other guys. Also, Sheasel with a 90 still scores 20 odd below what he's priced at, which is why we don't want to be starting the season with these premiums when you can be getting them for a lower price. Lions v Cats, we touched on Neil, didn't we? But even then, he's not one that you'll really be looking at. Anyone for yours? I suppose closely socked for me as my panic trade in for Nevitt when he got listed as sub, which, speaking of him, there's his 17. It'll put a big red stop sign in front of his cash generation.
Yeah, exactly. And it says a bit about the Cats maybe not rating him as much as we thought they might have done.
Why?
I don't understand why. I thought he's gone okay, but
it's great.
It's tough for a fantasy context. Obviously, we'll see the team list on Thursday, but if he's on the interchange and we've got to worry about him being a sub, you're just going to have to jump off, because if he's going to pump out 15 to 20 points off the bench, then you just have to get rid of that, don't you? As much as he can score when he's got the opportunity, maybe the opportunity's gone.
Yeah, another one. There wasn't so much cold in the game because he still got us to 66. But Sam DeConnick at probably both of our D5s, I think. People have been really keen to be trading him out. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Like, it's not great that Blitzarves is doing as much in the ruck as he currently is. Like, it's really a share. It's not a one ruck and a second. It's just a pure shared ruck role. We don't really want that, but it's not an urgent trade out by any means either.
Correct, yeah. Especially when he's playing keep back, when he's not rucking as a bit of a red flag. He's against Gorn next week as well, who we know is a hard guy to score against. But I don't think it's worth using a trade on when there are much bigger fires for everyone to put out and a 54 break even still as well. So keep that in mind if that's a direction you want to go. I'm not so much of a fan of it. Hawksy Giants. Did they do enough to you?
I was happy enough with 83. I think you can keep that. I think the bigger question would be a Finn Callahan, 57. Like that.
That's where I was going to go. Yeah.
That's probably out of all of the players in this game. I think that's the one I'd be most keen to trade off of. I think I still would hold him.
Really?
It was a rough conditions, right? Like he's probably never seen wind like that in his life. So you'd hope he can bounce back. But I wouldn't blame you if you got rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, looking at my team, it's like Perryman has to go, but I'm doing okay. I think he might be one on the chopping block for me. He's already lost cash this. Oh no, he hasn't. But yeah, he's projected to go down more. Break even of nearly 100. Scary stuff for me.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot else as well.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Sicily. Jeez.
Lots of players that were just okay. Yeah, Sicily, hopefully you just didn't start with him at this point. It's just not giving us anything close to good enough scores.
No, yeah, we knew the sort of flags that the role had around him, but yeah, can't go there with him. Saints v Richmond, suppose it'd just be a few Tigers players, isn't there? Taranto would go. You were pretty hot on him pre-season, but thank goodness he didn't jump on.
Yeah, just hasn't had the starts. He's just not been the guy in the midfield for Richmond, has he? Like
no.
Which we sort of assumed he would be. I don't know if there's too many trade outs. Lawler 46 is disappointing, but you're not trading out of a player like that.
No.
Not too much else still with the 0. But my understanding is he plays again next week, so that's not a serious injury or anything. It's just a niggle. Just a lot of rookie type options that didn't go great.
Didn't give Trainer a shout. It was 78. That's very nice. He nearly made his way onto my field as well.
Yeah, solid score.
Quickly zooming over to D's v Suns. Yeah, just a whole bunch of the Demons midfield. You'd think Gorn scored what? We'll have it soon. I think he scored somewhere in the 70s or 80s. Where are we finding him? 84.
Yeah. Not great from him. Obviously, Xavier Lindsay with that 12.
Yes.
That's unfortunate. 3% time on ground. He's done well to get to a 12 in that time.
Well, he went to halfback and had it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's unfortunate. As someone that traded him in just this week, it really hurts. But that's fantasy sometimes, isn't it? Had it with Mills a couple of years back. So, yeah, rough year for that.
Rioli.
Yeah, Rioli 63, disappointing. It's not like his role isn't there. It's just, I don't know, he just didn't find it today. Or this round, I should say. But I don't know if it's quite trade out territory. I think that's it for that game.
Yeah, I'm just thinking with him, damn, we might be getting him for a 700 K, something like that. He might be a really nice one to be jumping on.
Yeah.
Similar sort of spot to where Neil is with. They're not like your top priorities, but if they're there, you might as well have them. Carlton v Dogs, who are the big trade outs here?
I still think you could look at trading Sanders out.
Yep.
Just getting sick of him being there at this point.
Just nothing to do with the scoring, just the fact you have to look at him, you have to know to cheer this guy on.
Maybe you don't have to look at him because he's never on screen, but
no.
Yeah, I think he's one you'd be comfortable trading out. A player that didn't play but Camperali, you're happy to move him on now that he's not in the team.
Yep.
Ollie Holland's 52. You just hope he didn't start with that. If you did, that's a player that you've got to get rid of pretty quick.
Correct. He'll leak.
I think that's it.
Fraser,
63. That's not what you want, but his role was still good. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you probably back him in still.
There's that. No, not a lot else from me.
6 still underwhelming. Walsh 80 underwhelming. I'm just keeping an eye on Walsh because we've seen he can score too. Like at some point this season, he's going to
like it.
Hit the gear, isn't he? Start putting out 110 after 110, and you're going to have to jump on it quick. Like that's one of those ones you see one game, and you realise, all right, I've got to get on this train early.
Deep breath in, yeah. Here we go.
We're not there yet. Train's still waiting. Couple of delays. Told to move to a different platform.
Yeah.
We'll get
this
there.
Train never has a fucking preseason. It's the thing. His preseason are these first few rounds where he's leaking cash. And first game of the round, last one we're suppose giving a real look at is going to be that Bombers v Port game. And Nathan, are you thinking the same player as I am?
Well, there's a few. I'm not sure. Who are you thinking? Are you looking at our forward line by chance?
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Francis, 74.
Oh,
it's like he doesn't care about footy at the moment, isn't it? Like
no,
he doesn't want to be there. I wouldn't blame anyone for getting rid of it. Like especially when you watch what Rankin's doing.
Watch.
It's definitely one you can trade out.
I was doing a quick comparison on that with Dawson and Brayshaw, albeit Brayshaw scoring great this week. If I started Dawson over Brayshaw, I think I'm 60 points off top 1,000 instead of being somewhere in the mid 25,000. So it just goes to show how what little difference it makes for the start of the season. Yeah, there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Towards the bottom end of the scoring, Kaka with 40, disappointing. He's probably at that point you can trade him out. Like you've probably got players you trade out before him still, unless you're going well. But I don't think he's going to make too much more cash. So you're happy to move him on as soon as you're comfortable with it, right? Like if you've got fires to put out those fires first. You're not in a rush to get rid of Kaka, but he's at that point you're happy to move him on. Sardell Hawley, 17. Obviously only came on as a sub, but he looked all right. So
he did.
A lot. But you're not trading him in this week. Well, definitely not with the buy. But even next week, you probably need to wait because his break-even's not going to help him until he gets at least one full game without the sub vest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rosie as well, just quick one there with an 84, just completely burned my vice captaincy, which would have gone on DeConnick if not for him. And yeah, that's about it for the game summary, I suppose, in terms of trades and whatnot. Nathan, who are you going to be sort of looking at for your team?
So nothing's set in stone yet, but it's looking like it'll be Nevitt and Lindsay out. Injury or just not playing on the field. Neither of those things helps. And it might be O'Driscoll and McIntosh in as a double mid-pricer.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to one rookie, which we might be looking at Christian Moraes, might be looking
Yep.
at Langford, and then paying up to a higher end midfielder, which I'm not sure who it would be at the moment. I'd probably be looking towards maybe even a Sinclair if I was going to, or Holmes. Actually, it would probably be Holmes if I was going to. He's a bit cheaper. But I think I'm leaning more towards the two mid prices right now.
Yep. I like it. I think it is still well and truly fix-up season, probably for another, this week, and then another, one or two after this week?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So that's, what we're trying to do, not really chasing points or anything. For me, as you probably just saw on field, I was seeing how much coin it would give me, but might be, Perryman has to go. That's sorted. I just don't know which defender to be bringing him in for, and then think it's going to be a Callahan for mine, considering all my rookies are still scoring. I do see Horn Francis having a bounce back. Am I deluded for thinking that? Maybe
he does usually go. He goes well against the Saints normally. So if you're on the fence on selling or keeping,
one more week.
One more week.
Yeah,
exactly.
One more week. Hawthorn's yuck. I think we had a look at their sort of fixtures after it for the Hornet. How are they looking for him? There's teams for Port. Stand by. So they've got Saints, Hawthorn, Swans, North. So they've got Saints and North in the next four. I don't know. Do you see him being top six forwards in this form?
Not in his current form. He'll probably pick it up.
Okay.
But it does hurt to when you look at what some of the other players are doing. There's no way a McRae,
Rankin,
Smith, Daniel, and Rankin aren't top four.
Correct.
That just looks clear at this point.
Yeah.
And then, after that you could throw a blanket over a few. But he's a shocker to start the year.
Yeah, I'm gonna be holding him despite the obvious issues with him. I think he'll be back. The role's still there as well as something that we really look at as a generalization. It's just more on him. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with how I'm doing. I might have to do something bit of a rearrange to actually. That'll be a quick one. Just boom, close the out Garcia in. I probably should have done that before the fucking game. I would have gotten another higher score.
Might be a good idea, but that's one thing I've always heard for rolling lockout too. It's I do wish it just locked it Friday nights like it used to. Because otherwise,
really,
I don't like the idea of you're forced to sit on your phone or laptop or whatever across the weekend. And you would have experienced it as well a bit the first few weeks. If you're going to a game or if you're playing your own sport, right? For lots of people, maybe they've got kids going on as well. It sort of sucks if you got to sit on your phone and quickly check. Oh, is Mitch never going to be the sub tonight? You know, that can be a bit annoying, I reckon.
I know the one out of my friends. He where was he? He was in South America or something, and he had to sneak to a bathroom in a bar to check on his squad lineups. And damn, you were away for a while. It's yep.
Yeah, I reckon there's been a bit of talk over Twitter and stuff about people just being upset about the rolling lockout again. Maybe that does get changed next year. We'll have to see. Mm-hmm. But for the time being, we just keep going with it.
Yeah, that's right. And keep going we will. I think that probably covers everything we need to before the preview episode for round 4, where we'll be showing, locking in our trades and all that good stuff. We'll be trying to do are you good for the watch along Thursday night?
I don't think I can do the Thursday night. Might have to be a different game. Thursday night we got footy training on. I'll be rocking up at half time, which I'd still be attending more of the watch along than I did last week.
Brilliant.
yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe, I don't
Yeah,
know. There's a couple of
it might be
alright-
one of the rounds that we do a double one, because I think that'll be an absolute corker, because we showed what happened to Essendon when they got a bit of a kick up the backside and needed to perform. And yeah, I think obviously just Collingwood Carlton's always a big game. Might have two this week. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But
Well, we'll work that out. We'll let people know on the socials.
we will on the Twitters, hopefully with a bit more notice than we have been. It's just been a busy period, I know, for both Nathan and I, especially getting used to the whole scheduling and everything. But I'm feeling more and more comfortable with it all, and we're getting a bit more of an audience too, which is nice. Obviously, the Hall of Lame is going to be updated in the preview as well. I've already got someone in my crosshairs that is just going to be coughing a spray. But until then, yeah, stand by for Thursday morning for that. Watch alongs, Twitter's on screen as always, BK_IFS and Fantasy NATO there for those of you who are new. And yep, follow the rest of the socials as well and the Insight boys. I know the Supercoach guys have been going off with their content, and a few of them are probably in the hunt for some prizes as well. So if that's your cup of tea as well, go and check them out. And yeah, until next time, guys, take care.